A business owner asked me recently, what are my thoughts on hiring friends and family? In my opinion, like asking me if you should marry your spouse. Well, I guess your girlfriend. There's a lot of variables, but let me just tell you kind of what happened to me in my experience. When I first started my business, I thought I couldn't afford employees, so of course I reached out to friends and family like most people do. Of course, this was in the startup phase, thinking that it would save me time and money and headache and all those things that it takes to hire employees. And of course, I owned a business where there was a lot of fulfillment, so we would hand insert letters into envelopes, things like that. So we would do these after hours, and of course I would spend the day getting in 10 to 15 friends or family, get them scheduled to come in at after work because most of them had jobs. And so they'd come in, and of course I'd have to get pizza and things like that. Of the 15 or so that I had scheduled, there was one or two that could work but they didn't have a ride, so I'd go pick them up. Of course, out of those 10 to 15, about half would show up. And I am very grateful for all those that did help, willing to help, and could help at the time. But what I found after a period of time was I was spending more time during the day with logistics of trying to get those employees to the office than counting on X amount of the number of friends and family that said they could be there, thinking that this project will be 6 to 9 and only having about half of them show up. Of course, then some of them would leave early. And so we didn't get the projects finished, which then left me in a bind the next day. And so what I found was it was costing me a lot of time, resources, pizzas, any of those things, as far as just a lot of headache. And it wasn't until I realized that I said, you know what? Hiring an employee, going through a temp service, whatever it takes, but hiring friends and family, it just wasn't working for me and my situation. And I've talked to other business owners, and they pretty much feel the same way. The other thing was you've kind of lost control. These are grown adults that we know, and friends and family don't take advice or constructive criticism very well. So be very alert of some of the problems that you could have. There is no wrong or right reason. I have found that the majority of business owners that I work with, friends and family do not mix. Of those, when they're considering friends and family, I have what I consider a values assessment just to see if we're even aligned before we get into the contractual agreement of employee employer. So give it some considerable thought. If you have any questions, reach out to Michael at michaeldmorrison.com. If you'd like more small business facts and tips, go to michaeldmorrison.com.